Hello.
Hey, Rosie.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
And where exactly are you calling in from?
I'm in Lewisham in London.
Okay. Not entirely familiar with where that is, but
It's
London
like
generally.
yeah, it's kind of southeast. It's sort of near Peckham and Greenwich.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you calling in. I understand things are a bit hectic right now with you guys entering into
Mm,
like the highest tier of lockdown.
mm, yeah, it's kind of weird because they were gonna make it like a tier five, and they just keep making up new tiers. Basically, can't keep
It's,
track of it.
yeah, that's never a good sign when they make up more tiers.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, you have a new album coming out next week on all fours. How does that
Yes.
how does that feel?
Very like strange. It's been so long, like since we did it, over a year, yeah. But it still feels very fresh because, like, I don't know, 2020 sort of just zoomed past. So I'm very excited because I don't know, I just really like love it. Proud of all of the songs and everything.
Well, that's always good. And
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear it because I really liked the first album, and I feel like one of the things I really liked about the first album was that there was a real kind of orchestral feel to it, like not just in the instrumentation, but also in the production. Like you have
Mm,
these kind of like series of movements that are almost like an old concerto or something like that, and
mm,
I could hear the kind of like elongated like synth passages and stuff like that on the singles release thus far,
mm.
but is that kind of like long atmospheric flow between songs something that got carried over to the new album?
In a way, I feel like, well, like with the first album, we kind of thought a lot about the track listing like beforehand, and would just practice it in the order that we decided and try and make like each song flow to like the next one. And then we did it where we recorded them in chunks again. So we do like three together. So it was sort of like a full piece in a way. But I like that comparison because I love classical music.
Yeah, no, and that's like I feel like those little pieces of music, like those series of movements or something like that,
Mm,
is kind of what it reminds me of. And you worked with Dan Carey again on this album, right?
yeah, yeah.
So what's that like? Because I have some understanding from what I've been able to read online about the whole Speedy Wonderground world and South
Mm.
London scene and everything, but how would you describe the process of working with Dan?
Um, well, I think just after doing the first album, we just became like really good friends. So it was sort of a given that we would do the second one like with him. We didn't really. I feel like we didn't even really talk about it. We're just like, obviously, we're going to do it Dan.
Hmm.
Because he's sort of kind of a fifth member in a way, especially when recording, because he'll be playing with electronics while we play the songs and kind of having that live as well. And you can sort of hear stuff like that on the record. And recording with him is very like freeing, and I don't know, it's just very it's relaxed but also very intense.
Yeah. So let me ask, because from what I've read, it seems like he's very deliberate about the process. Like there's a structure to it, and there's certain aspects that are somewhat sacred. And you mentioned that it is somewhat intense, but it's also kind of freeing. Like, I don't know, is that accurate at like my interpretation of what I've been reading about it?
Yeah, it kind of, for me, I and when I listen to um other stuff he's done with other artists and stuff, I can really tell that he really caters to each different artist that he works with, and he it's sort of like a collaboration in a way, but he really finds what will work best with that artist and like really listens and has loads of suggestions, but also isn't like pushy. And it's just like just a really nice experience. And he's just very like clever and very good with people, and I feel like that makes like a lot of difference.
And were you able to get everything you wanted to on this record, or did you kind of leave the studio and months later you're like, well, now I have all these ideas and kind of you're already thinking about the next album? Or do you feel like you were able to document everything you wanted to do on this latest album?
Yeah, we spent quite a long time writing it because we had a change of members. So then Holly joined playing bass, and then we kind of started writing together in Ellie's mum's garage, and then had some song ideas, but they weren't really coming to like form. And we were like, oh, let's go away somewhere. So we went away to this farm for like a week, and like finalized loads of the ideas. And then we went to Dan's second studio in Streatham. We kind of just like bashed it out this like very intensely kind of for a year. So by the time we were going to record, we had sort of all the songs and we knew exactly kind of how it wanted to be. I don't know, the ordering and the instrumentation, but then had the chance to experiment a lot as well with it. Because I think we tracked it in like one day. So got all of like the drums, guitars, and like bass and all of that down. And then we had like the whole rest of the 2 weeks to just add loads of layers and just add loads of richness to it. So when we finished it, we finished it like end of November of 2019. God. And then we mastered it like right before lockdown happened here. So it's very lucky, like it kind of all got to be done to the place that we wanted it to be done before everything went to shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the part why I'm so curious is because I do find myself kind of attached to that idea where you go in the room and you bang it out for a day and then you can tinker with it after the fact, or you go away to some farm for a week or so long and really just kind of like make it your sole purpose and just get it out in the world, and then you could always just refine it later. To me, like, because I tend to overthink things, so that is what I find very alluring about the process.
I think when we were kind of at the end of finalizing writing it, we didn't really realize we were at that stage though. We were still like, oh no, like this needs to change. And then we booked in some dates and we were like, we're not going to be ready for then. And then Dan, like we'd recorded some demos and then we showed them to Dan. He was like, yeah, that's it, you've got it. And we were like, oh, okay. And we sort of needed that because we were just like so in it and just couldn't really tell like what was good anymore. It's just like, is this music? I don't know.
Yeah. Nice. Well, I wanted to also ask you about the South London scene because it seems like that's very much connected to the band, and that's where, like, I'm a fan of your music, and I'm a fan of a lot of music that seems to be emanating from that area. And I wanted to ask if, one, I guess if you feel like there actually is a scene there, and then if there's a difference between kind of a scene and a community. Like, when does a scene really just become a community in the old sense of the word, where it's like a group of people, most of which are neighbors, and you generally know everyone around town? Or is that just like am I being too quaint about that? Like, is it really just South London and you guys have, your venues and the bands play there? I don't know. Like, I might be romanticizing it a bit, but I feel like that's the kind of thing that leads towards, a bunch of people moving there and then ruining the place.
It's true. Yeah, I feel like there was a time at the Windmill where I'd be there like pretty much maybe like 3 times a week or something, and it very much felt like a community, and you could just go there on your own and you'd sort of see someone that and then I moved because I was living more southwest, which is like where the Windmill is in Brixton, but then I moved more southeast, and there's kind of like a different scene here, and there's this venue called Sister Midnight, which sadly closed down because of COVID, but they've got some really exciting plans for like a community benefit society. So I think there's lots of sort of light shone on the Windmill scene, but there's really like Sister Midnight, there's real good like community with that. I kind of find that more in Southeast, kind of know everyone here, and like, yeah, everyone kind of is neighbors. I found more here.
Yeah, no, that's fascinating. And also Sister Midnight's an excellent name for a venue. Yeah. So I feel very lucky to have you on because as a drummer myself, I usually don't get to talk to the drummer of the band. So
Oh,
this is an excellent change of pace, and I wanted to ask if there's any songs that you particularly like to track to, that like you can
mm,
recommend to other folks because I know like the song Body Baba, the latest single, I could
mm,
see myself playing that one a lot because it's got that really groovy offbeat going on the hi-hat and those like stop
yeah.
start fills. Is there anything that you're playing to at the moment that you throw out into the world for anyone else to check out?
Yeah, that song was, I really enjoy playing that one. I haven't practiced drums in so long because I don't really have a drum kit anywhere. I have it, but I can't really go to get it. I think this is the thing. I love playing drums, but I'm not really like a drum nerd. I don't
Mm,
really know anything about it. Like I kind of I discovered loads of things playing drums for this album day because I kind of was trying to play it in ways that I hadn't played it before. And on the old record, I was sort of focused a lot on the floor tom, and then with this record, I was kind of like really interested in doing weird hi-hat patterns and stuff. And I feel like that's just been inspired by listening to like maybe like trap music and stuff.
yeah, you
So
get
yeah, I
those
don't
weird
know.
like triplets going on, like the hi-hat, something like
Mm,
that.
yeah. I also discovered this thing that you can make the hi-hat sound like a wood block. If I mean, I don't know if I discovered it, but I
No, but
just
do
like
tell.
I don't know, I just started doing that. I was like, whoa, I didn't know you could do that. It's like if you keep the hi-hat really, really tight and then you hold the drumstick at what's it called? Like at a right angle basically
Yeah.
to the hi-hat and you hit it like straight on with the like side of the stick. Yeah, if you get it at the right point and like the right strength, then it sounds like a wood block. And we had on the song on the new albums was called Wood Block because of this.
Oh, really?
But
And
now
so,
the name's changed. So
so which song is it now?
what's it called? So I get confused because all the songs have changed names as well.
Ah.
Um,
So
what's it
you're
called?
hitting the hi-hat perpendicular to the, or you're hitting
Yeah,
the,
that's the
yeah,
word.
yeah,
That's the word.
yeah. I don't know. Is
Um,
it the crack? There's some like clavas or something like that on that one I've
oh,
enjoyed.
that's the frog.
Oh, that's the frog.
Frog.
Okay.
Oh, it's not once again. It's closing in. That song.
All right. Well, I will cue that one up so folks can listen for that wood block. Rosie, thanks
Nice.
so much for calling in. I really do appreciate the
Uh,
time.
yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. And I hope at some point in the near future I could come see a show, but that seems very to be determined at the moment.
I want to come back to the US.
Yeah. When was the last time you guys toured the US?
2018, we
Gotcha.
did a tour with Parquet Courts, which was amazing.
Oh, nice. I
Yeah, so
I'm very upset I missed that show then.
whereabouts are you based?
I live in Queens, but the station's based out of Brooklyn.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Well, you have a good rest of your evening, and thanks again for calling in.
Mm, yeah, have a good rest of your day.
All right. Thanks, Rosie.
Nice one. Thank you.